Alexander Khara is a former Ukrainian diplomat who is joining me at the moment. The talks clearly have not made headway. In fact, it appears, Alexander, that Ukraine is playing hardball with the Russians, saying that forget about Donetsk, give us back Crimea. Where is this confidence coming from? Does Ukraine seriously believe that you can resist the Russian advance into Kiev?
Well, first of all, hello, incredible India. We are under the attack from the major world nuclear power and the major European conventional military power. But so far, for the 5th day, Russia was not able to impose its will and to crush our armed forces. Vice versa, we've been killing a lot of Russian invaders, and we've stopped a lot of advances of their special operation forces, the tanks, and another type of weaponry. So that's why it gives us pretty strong confidence that we can manage with the Russian. I'm not talking about victory or bombing Moscow. We have no such plans. But certainly we're not going to give up the sovereignty of Ukraine and the future of Ukraine. So we would love to preserve for our people the will, the ability to realize its will, whether to join NATO, European Union, or other organizations. So we don't want to be limited in our choices. So that's why it's pretty good position for Ukraine. We are not in defeat, and certainly we have potential. We have support from the free world, even though we don't have any NATO troops or American troops on our ground. But as we speak, thousands of the foreign freedom fighters are coming to Ukraine to help the Ukrainian army. A lot of Ukrainian citizens are joining territorial defense and armed forces. So this war is not easy work for Russia.
But are you not worried? A deadline has been set of midnight by which all citizens are being asked by the Russians to leave Kiev. Are you worried that the Russians will now that the talks have failed, will actually escalate the attacks? Is that a fear at the moment that they could actually now make another push to capture Kiev tonight?
The Russian barbarians has been shelling our cities since 2014. Today they committed war crimes while they were shelling with the multiple launch grenades one of the biggest cities in the east, Kharkiv. So we have no doubts they will apply this technique to other cities, and particularly to the capital of Ukraine. They've been bombarding it with the missiles, the cruise missile and ballistic missiles, Kiev since 24th of February. So we have no illusion. And with regard to this evacuation of the people, the civilians, usually Russians are using these people as a life shield for their advancements. We've seen it in our history several times. That's why we do not believe a single word of Russia, but we certainly do believe in the Russian seriousness to harm Ukrainians, and especially those in Kiev.
Gaurav, on the ground you're saying, okay, Gaurav has just left. Remember, he's tracking it in central Ukraine. One final question, Alexander. Is there an end game that you see to this, or are we heading for a prolonged war? Is that the way you see it? Are Ukrainians now getting ready for a prolonged battle which will last weeks, maybe months?
Well, yes, sure, because we've been fighting with Russians since 2014. It was a local fight in Donbass area where actually the Russians failed to advance even now, when a lot of our forces are distracted from that region and they are around Kiev defending our capital. So yes, if there is a prolonged conflict, the Russians will lose more and more troops and more weaponaries, and we can employ our advantage. We have some 260,000 army personnel at the moment, and we have 400,000 people who went through the war, and they are subscribing for territorial defense and for Ukrainian armed forces, and we have support of our foreign friends who are coming to fight with the Russians. So certainly it's much better for us to aim for the long-term conflict, and where we have upper advantage, rather than agree on the terms Russian proposed us during these talks.
Alexander, well, stay safe. And as you're saying, Ukraine is ready for the long fight, you're saying, at the moment with the Russians. You're not going to cede space at the moment. There's no question, in a way, the Russians want you to, in a way, demilitarize. There's no question of doing that, or a regime change. Am I correct? No question of demilitarizing.
You're absolutely right. It's just like you have two neighbors that are hostile to your country, and we have a huge number who is revisionist power, who doesn't want to see Ukraine as an independent state. So we have no choice. Either we survive in this battle, or we diminish as a nation, as the Russians want to make.
Okay, fair enough, and I appreciate your joining us and speaking with such clarity there. Alexander, stay well. Thanks very much for joining me here on the news today.